Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to discuss JSON or the JSON module in Python. So what is JSON? JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. It is a lightweight data interchange format that's easy for humans to read, write, and easy for machines to parse and generate. So why do we use JSON in Python? So JSON is commonly used for data interchange between a server and a client, especially with web APIs. JSON is part of the Python standard library, so you don't have to install it. It's already pre-installed with the Python when you install Python. So this is basically the command, or this is how you import it. Just import JSON, and I'm going to cover a few operations like reading JSON from a string, or reading JSON data from a string, reading JSON data from a file, writing to a string, writing to a file, or writing JSON data to a string, writing JSON data to a file, accessing JSON data as a dictionary, modifying JSON data, printing JSON, working with JSON data from an API, and going to discuss an example of how you can fetch and process data or JSON data from a public API. So reading JSON data from a file. Okay, let me just add this phrase here. Reading JSON, from a string, reading JSON data from a file, writing JSON data to a string, writing JSON data to a file, accessing JSON data as a dictionary, modifying JSON data. Okay, that's fine. Printing JSON data, working with JSON data from an API, reading the tasks again. Just wanted to make sure that it's all correct now. Yeah. Okay, so let me start with reading JSON data from a string. So what I'm doing here is I'm just basically importing JSON first, and this is a example of JSON data. Yeah, reading data from a string. And what this method means, what this method is doing is parse the JSON string into a Python dictionary, or basically convert the JSON string into a Python dictionary. So let me go ahead and run this code. Okay, so we see that it works as expected. So if I actually just check the type of data of this variable, so I can just do this command here, or this code. Yeah, it says class dict, so it's a dictionary. Let me try this. Int type JSON. It's a class. It's actually a JSON, what we can also call JSON formatted string. Yeah, it says class str or string. Okay, so that's how you can read JSON data from a string. Okay, next is reading JSON data from a file. I have this file called data.json. Yeah, this file, if I open this, it's going to be open in Visual Studio Code. Yeah, it can be open here as well in PyCharm. Okay, so that's the content of JSON, data.json. What I'm doing here is basically I'm using this method or function actually, to convert the JSON data into a Python object, in this case a dictionary. If I run this code, it is now a dictionary. So I can verify that by using this command here, or this line of code. Let me do this way. So print, it says it's a dictionary. Okay, so that's how you can read data or JSON data from a file. Okay, let me comment it out. And next is writing JSON data to a string. So let me just uncomment this line. This line of code. So I'm importing the JSON module again, and this is the JSON data here. So, or actually a dictionary in this case, because it says convert the Python dictionary into a JSON formatted string using this. So this is how you convert a Python dictionary into JSON. Okay, so convert the Python dictionary into a JSON formatted string using this. Okay, this function dumps. Yeah, the type is. Let's remove that for a second. Okay, yeah. And if I put it back, it is a string, yeah. So JSON formatted string. Okay, yeah, that's correct. Okay. And next is writing JSON data to a file. So I'm doing the same thing here. The difference is I'm opening this data or file called data.json, which I have here already. And I'm storing it into this variable called file, and I'm basically converting or writing the data dictionary, which is this, to the file in JSON format. So if I run this, I don't see anything on the console, but if I go into the file itself, which is this, I will have this content, because this is this data here. Yeah, as you can see, Python dictionary and JSON is very similar, but there are differences, and we can actually visit the Python documentation for those differences. For example, the boolean true or boolean true false in JSON, you have the small, the true with small letter T and false with small letter F, but in Python dictionary, it should be true with a capital T and false with a capital F. So that's one of the differences between JSON and dictionary. Okay, so next is accessing data or JSON data as a dictionary. So load. So basically, I'm loading the JSON data into this variable called data. So if you run this, I will have this output: Alice, 30, age, and New York, which is the city. So like I said, this is how you load JSON data into a Python dictionary, and we can verify that by doing this code again. So it should be a dictionary. Yes. Okay, so next is modifying data. So I will have to uncomment this line of code again, because we're going to modify the data. So here what I'm doing is basically I'm making the age 31 from 30. So if I run this code, we see that here in this dictionary or JSON data, it became 31. Okay, so that's how you can modify JSON data. Okay, so next is pretty printing JSON data. So you can actually use this method or function called dumps, and you pass in your data, your JSON data, and you have this option to add a indentation. So in this case, I'm adding 2. I'm adding 2 lines as indentation. So if I run this code, I will have that indentation. I could actually make this 4 as well, and you would see the difference here, and 1 as well. But let me stick with 2. Okay, so next is working with JSON data from an API. So I have this website called this, and I'm basically making a get call request and putting saving the response into this variable called response. And this method here is basically converting the JSON data into a Python list or dictionary. So we can verify that if it's really a list or dictionary, but I think it's a dictionary in this case. Run that command. Oh, it's a list. It's actually a list. It's a list because of the open and close brackets, opening and closing brackets. That's the data is within the opening and closing square brackets. Okay, that's how you can work with JSON data from an API. And last is this example that I have here. So this is how you can fetch and process JSON data from a public API. So you're not just printing the response or result of your call, but you can also perform a loop, for example. That's what I'm doing here. So I'm basically calling it's a user, right? Yeah, calling the name, email, address, and city. So if I run this command, this code, that's how I get here. So name, email, and city. Okay, so that's how you can work with JSON data, and those are the operations that you can perform with JSON data. So hopefully you found this video useful. If you have, don't forget to subscribe, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.